My name is Dr. Martin. I am not a medical doctor, and nothing that we say during this presentation is meant to diagnose or prescribe or to be taken as any kind of medical prescription. Please take this information, if you desire, to your medical doctor or other licensed physician. The biological immunity analysis tests the urine and the saliva, and from those two specimens we are able to work up a three-dimensional profile of a person. We're able to see you physically, we're able to see you mentally, we're able to see you emotionally, or as some people might want to call the emotionally spiritual. You can't see it. What do we test and why? We test the urine and the saliva. Why do we test this? Because it's easy and it is indicative of what is going on inside of your body. We test for parameters and profiles that are not normally tested by traditional medical laboratories. The testing is done by a licensed medical laboratory. However, the things that we test for are not part of your traditional information. Presently, we are conducting a research project to prove that we can predict various diseases as well as circumvent them by using specific nutritional and other techniques combined with periodic monitoring. What do we mean by a three-dimensional profile? Again, we are going to be seeing you physically as a physical body. We're going to be seeing you emotionally. We're also going to be seeing you mentally, and I have some transparencies here that I will show you in a minute, just what we mean by that. How do we apply the BIA results physically? Health is like a clock, and the perfect health window, let's say, the variation that we can have to be healthy, let's say is somewhere between 11 o'clock and 1 o'clock. Once we get outside of this perfect health window, what happens is that the body begins to malfunction. When you move too far left, let's say around 9 o'clock, then maybe you are too acid. When you move too far right, maybe let's say around 3 o'clock, you are too alkaline. Depending upon where you are on this clock means that you would be expected to have varying symptoms, different diseases, or a tendency towards such things. We have learned through the testing of the urine and the saliva, otherwise known here as the biological immunity analysis, that wherever you are on this clock, we know what is necessary to get you back up to the perfect health window. Once you're in this perfect health window, then the self-healing nature of the body can once again flow and heal itself. The biological immunity system consists of a test of 7 different parameters. One of the things that you will receive when you receive the results of the test is a reading of your metabolism efficiency. Your metabolism efficiency is how well you're converting food into energy according to our scale. Keep in mind that this is a new language, so to speak, for many people, and nothing that we're saying here should be construed to be according to traditional terms that may be used. This is our own language that we have developed for this work. Your metabolism efficiency is how well you're converting food into energy. It makes sense that the better we do that, the more healthy we are. The worse that we do that, the more sick we're ultimately going to become. And once you fall below 55% on this scale, that then the zones, the description of the zones, change from being symptoms into minor degeneration. In other words, over the 16 years that we have worked with this and literally seen tens of thousands of tests on people of all ages, from all walks of life, we have determined that once our rating of metabolism efficiency falls below 55%, that it is a sign that the toxicity is building up faster in the body than what the body can carry it away. And when that happens, you're becoming toxic, you're becoming like a toxic waste dump, that is ultimately going to set up for some type of degenerative disease, and who needs that? So our first objective is to find out where you are with your metabolism efficiency, and if you're below 55%, we got to get it above there, and that's just the minimum acceptable. For weight loss purposes, of course, if you're having weight problems, chances are your metabolism efficiency is below 65%. You need to keep your metabolism efficiency above 65% if you can expect to move automatically to your genetic weight. In other words, what we're saying here is that weight loss is a natural byproduct of having a body that is really in tune. The next thing that we measure is a thing called immune energy. Get a fix on the strength of the immune system. And of course, immunity is a big word today, rightfully so. We're being ravaged by all kinds of things in the world. And to get a reading of the immune energy, which we want to keep, in this case, above 50%, which is the minimum acceptable. What's this mean? Well, this is your resistance. This is your healing capacity. This is your ability to bounce back. It's the whole rating of the healing system. It's kind of like a savings account. Your metabolism efficiency is very much like a checking account. Your checking account can go up and down, up and down, up and down. And if you have a strong savings account, then whatever your metabolism efficiency, or in this case your checking account, is doing on a day-to-day basis, maybe you have heavy stress and so forth, you don't notice it that much. But how about if your savings account is very low? How about if you have no savings at all? And your checking account goes from $50 to $1,000. There's going to be a big difference in how you think during the day. Likewise, when you have a strong immune system and your metabolism efficiency is flopping all over the place, you don't notice it near as much as when you have a very weak immune system and your metabolism efficiency is going up and down like that. You feel it. You have ups and downs. You cycle, maybe even cycle during the day. We also have a formula whereby we're able to calculate to our satisfaction your biological age. Biological age is how old you are biologically. How fast, what kind of an impact has the aging factor had on you? Just how old are you biologically according to our scale versus how old you might be chronologically. In many cases, this can be a very enlightening reading for you to receive. Something else that we check for is a thing called immunity interference factors. One of these factors is the adverse relationships. These adverse relationships can be thought of as communication channels between the brain and the rest of the body. The brain has to keep the body in sync, so it has to send out those signals and it has to always get feedback coming back. And if any of those communication channels are cut, then we have a hard time keeping the body in sync. And 0 to 4 is where we want to see everybody stay. The higher that these adverse relationships go, the more emotional stress that we will find in your life. The deeper problems have gone. If somebody comes to us that has a chronic degenerative problem, they will tend to have a higher adverse relationship reading. The higher that these adverse relationships are, or ARs for short, it means that it's just going to take that much longer to put everything back together, like Humpty Dumpty. Because what has happened is that the perimeter, the outer trenches, the outer defenses have broken down, and the enemy is closing in, possibly to affect the vital organs. If we have high ARs again, it's possible that there's a great deal of emotional stress that is causing problems in the body. The next thing that we check for is the speed of decline, which we want to keep between 0 and 2. This is an aging factor. How fast the person is aging, how fast the person is falling apart. What is just your speed of decline? If it gets up into the 3s and 4s, well, 4 is extremely difficult. Basically, there's nothing that we know of that can be done for somebody who consistently declines at a speed of 4. 3s take a long time. So what is yours? it's important to keep it between 0 and 2. It is after 16 years of working with this tool, we are convinced that knowing the answers to these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 items concerning your body, and to a degree your mind, because it's linked, can greatly improve your health, can greatly improve your vitality, can greatly improve how you mentally function. And for you to be able to have this information, to learn how to adjust your lifestyle accordingly, to keep high ratings in these readings, it would be theoretically impossible to be sick. If your body is functioning at peak 100% healing efficiency factor, then theoretically it would be impossible to be sick. We have classified over 100 classic profiles during our 15 years of research. Going on 16 now, I guess. Chances are you will fall into one of them. If you do, we know what needs to be done to adjust your body chemistry to the proper position. The rest is up to you. Now, this is an example of one of those profiles that we have seen that we have now classified. We call it a classic profile. It's a fatigue factor. These arrows, which won't mean much to you at this point, but as you begin to see your tests and your tests of your family, you'll understand this very clearly. But this is the kind of profile that develops when a person complains of, in this case, fatigue and very little stamina. Some people call it chronic fatigue. Some people call it tired when I get up in the morning and tired when I go to bed and tired all day long and just don't seem to have the energy that we used to. There's a reason for that, and it's usually a very simple reason, and it can be uncovered by the BIA. When you receive your report from us, you'll receive many different items of information. The first item being this energy category sheet. All-important sheet. The number one thing, you should know what your readings are. It is if you can list anything physically wrong with your body, 90% or more of the time, once we have your analysis, once we can fill in your numbers in these blank spots right here, then we can show you why it is that you have the problems that you're having. That's important to know why. Then we can instruct you in 4 major areas: diet, nutrition, lifestyle modifications, and attitude adjustments that you can implement to the degree that you are able to, that will bring you from wherever you are in your metabolism efficiency to where you need to be, which is 70% and up. In other words, we're going to be reading you, remember now, we're going to be reading, I can't say this enough times, we're going to be reading you physically, we're going to be reading you mentally, we're going to be reading you emotionally, and we will be able to tell you and show you why physically you have the problems you have, what there is mentally that is going on, in other words with your personality, that is perpetuating and perhaps precipitating the problems, and also we're going to be able to show you emotionally what there is going on that is also causing. So we're going to work with you in each of those 3 levels. We're going to explain that to you, and then we're going to turn around and give you information that you can begin to apply in each of those 3 levels. You see, we are a body, and we are a mind, and we are a spirit. And if we try to connect or disconnect one of those 3, we cease to be a human being. So we believe at the Biological Immunity Research Institute, we believe that it is time that you started learning how to get feedback to take control of your own affairs. Become personally responsible. So the problem is that the problem that most people have is, how do we, well, what do I do about it? What is it that I need to do to bring myself back into balance? In order to answer that question, you got to know how far out of balance and which side of the perfect health window am I, and what do I need to do? I mean, there are gobs of books, and there are tapes, and there are lectures, and the more you read, the more confused you get. The more confused I got. That's why we developed a tool, a scientific objective tool called the biological immunity analysis that you can put to work for you to be scientific about this and to know for sure if what you're doing, if what you're eating, if what you're thinking, if your lifestyle, whatever aspect of you can be measured then by this analysis. Sounds incredible, I will admit. The second thing I said was nutrition. Nutrition covers the remedies and what particular homeopathics and what particular vitamins and minerals and herbs and differing combinations of things. What things would be good for you? What things would be bad for you? Because of your body chemistry. See, it takes the guesswork out of things. We have few people, but we do have a few people that use the biological immunity analysis just as a measurement device to see how well what program that they are involved in is working for them. And by far the majority of the people involve themselves not only in the analysis, but they want to also implement the biological immunity system, which means that they will follow the items to consider. So we have covered the body, we have covered the mind. We're going to show you how your personality interacts. What's left is the emotional aspect of the human being. We are a spiritual being in a chemical body, electrically stimulated and emotionally controlled. Now let me say that again. We are a spiritual being. We're in a chemical body. We are electrically stimulated, but we're emotionally controlled. So it's very important to not only see you physically and mentally, but also to see you emotionally. No matter how good of a diet you have, no matter how nice your personality is, no matter what you're doing nutritionally, no matter what your lifestyle modifications are or lifestyle in general, your metabolism efficiency is going to come up and it's just going to plateau out. Why is it going to plateau out? Because you haven't got the emotions and the mind in sync with the body. So you see, this is a total program. We need to detox the toxic residue that is left over from this, what could be a physical or a mental or an emotional trauma. That's just as important as getting toxic waste out of the body because of a bad diet or because of some other thing that would be more of a physical nature. What you need is control. And that's what the biological immunity analysis is all about. It's about control. It's about feedback. You need to be in control of your own destiny physically. Why not? You need to be in control of your own destiny mentally. You need to be in control of your own destiny emotionally. By all means, emotionally. It's what controls us. Remember the eternal law. It is what controls us. You need control of your physical and your mental and your emotional being. If you have control over those three areas of your life, then no matter how sick you might be in any of those three areas right now, you have hope of getting better. And if you are getting better, the biological immunity analysis is going to give you some indication of that. And if you're not, it'll show you why not. So I urge you to call us today and find out more about how the biological immunity analysis can give you greater control, freedom, and that will enable you to once again be in control of your physical and of your mental and your emotional life, so that you too can enjoy perfect health. Thank you.